Hi and welcome to Ionan's Edge. In this episode, I'll do a quick review of a Civivi knife. It's been out a while, but deserves a little more recognition than it typically gets. The Civivi Pintail. Let's jump right in with some basic specs. So this knife uses S35VN blade steel. It has a flat grind with some swedging on the top of it. It has 2 7/8 inches of usable fine cutting edge. The scale length on this knife is 3.75 inches total. And the overall length from tip to tail is 6 7/8. This knife rides on full ceramic ball bearings. It has really nice micarta scales on it. And it has an overall weight of just 2.7 ounces. So let's talk about what I like. I mentioned S35 blade steel, and that's an excellent choice for this knife. And despite using and carrying this knife for well over a year now, it's not really needed sharpening at all. Cuts and slices really well, holds an edge really well. Obviously, that's due to the blade steel that's being used, the S35VN. The ergos on this knife are solid. Really solid knife. There's jimping in all the right places. So we have jimping up here on the top. There's some jimping here where the liner lock is. Excellent lockup, by the way, on this knife. And it's just ergonomically just a really solid, comfortable knife to hold in your hand. The pocket clip is well designed and uses countersunk screws. So that's really nice. I enjoy that a lot. And the balance point between the knife is right here between my fingers. So just a little bit back of the pivot point, but also right there where the grip relief and texturing and scaling is taken out of there. So good balance to this knife. Feels really well balanced in your hand when you're in the normal position. And also, even though it's not an actual finger trail, you can actually move your finger up here where the sharpening trail is and where this little ramp is for the flipper tab. It is a manually deployed knife, but man, this thing opens smooth each and every time. You'll never guess that this thing is manually deployed because it just fires out there and you can hear it locks into place nice and solid each and every time. And finally, the overall fit and finish on this knife is really, really good. The micarta scales have light but effective texturing. They look really nice, and fit and finish wise, like I said, it's a Civivi. The fit and finish is nice. There is some skeletonization on the inside of the frame, which is great, and the overall fit on the knife, really good. Like I said, deploys well, no blade play, none of that stuff is involved here. It's just a really solidly designed knife. Are there any issues or dislikes I have for this knife? You know I like to give honest reviews, and honestly, after carrying this knife off and on for a long time, I can't find any fault with what I call this medium-sized knife. It's not a true mini, it's not really a medium, it's kind of somewhere right in the middle of those two. It's a great offering from Civivi, and at between $80 and $85, depending on where you buy it. The knife offers a wide array of blade finishes and scale options to go with this S35 blade steel. I'm actually surprised this knife's not talked about more in the knife community and in knife circles, as it's certainly a good buy at this price point. So let me give you a couple of quick size comparisons too on this knife. Let's bring in our chart. I'm going to drop this in here so you can get kind of a good feel of what this knife looks like. So the first one I'm going to do is Benchmade Mini Griptilian in fine edge, pivot to pivot. And you can really see these knives are very similar in size. I will say that the Civivi feels a little more, a little more ergo in your hand than the Griptilian. The Griptilian's very comfortable, but the Civivi feels just a little, maybe a tad longer in your hand, and I think that's just because of the design of the scales. And then I'm going to also bring in a Benchmade mini bug out, a standard mini, I'm sorry, a Benchmade regular bug out, just for comparison. And here we go, pivot to pivot. So you can see that the bug out has a little bit more cutting edge on the blade and just a tiny bit more length on the handle. But I feel like that's deceiving because the handle on the bug out is completely flat all the way back. And the Pintail, as you can see, has this kind of curved or sculpted feel to it. But there you go. There's two comparisons that I think are accurate for this knife. Also, when you buy a Civivi, you get the carrying case, which you always get with these knives. You get some paperwork, some stickers, a microfiber cleaning cloth. They usually give you some Civivi stickers in there. And that comes with this knife as well. And like I said, this thing's available in a lot of different scale options, different kinds of micarta, different blade finishes. But it's just a really solid knife. And like I said, I feel it's underappreciated and probably overlooked by a lot of folks. Alrighty, so that's the Civivi Pintail. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If so, please give me a like down there and also consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, folks, stay sharp.